plaintiff, Benny Feldy, says after he started working for the defendant, she started flirting with him, and they eventually began dating. Benny says they have a daughter together, and at one point, the defendant gave him their daughter because she didn't want her. He's suing for breach of contract. Defendant Betty Haynes admits that she left her husband to date Benny, but says the relationship was based on lies. Betty claims Benny lied about not being able to conceive, and then he later got arrested for drunk driving while their daughter was in the car.
Start with you, sir.
Never mix business with pleasure. First thing you should know. 1999, I met Miss Haynes. I got hired on at a factory. It was a small factory. She was the boss. First date I started, there was flirtation going on.
That was a lie, certainly.
The one I remember most often, and she'd point her finger and say, "Come here."
I don't want to hear the rest.
Since she was my boss, I'd run over there. She'd say, "I just want to see how fast you come." Well, she had a reputation for flirting with everybody. I mean, it wasn't just me. She'd flirt with everybody. And the flirtation became pretty serious.
With you or with everybody?
With me.
On the job? Would she flirt with other
No,
gentlemen?
Your Honor. He asked me to go out on a date before.
Did you flirt with him or not?
No, I was not. He said, "Would you like to go to the fair with me?" I said, "Well, my daughter may like that, but I don't believe my husband would."
Okay.
And he keeps.
That's not right, Your
So
Honor.
you all obviously never got together.
Yeah, later on we did. Yes, afterwards.
How much later?
Maybe 5-6 months.
So what's all this
I was
husband
not flirting.
stuff about? What are you
I
telling
was married at the time.
All right, so why are you
started.
acting like, you know, you kind of fought him off?
No, but he's just lying and saying I
Well,
was
you
flirting
tell me
with
your
all the
version
guys.
of how you all got together.
He had probably been there 4 to 5 months before I ever had anything to do with him, before I ever even really talked to him,
All right.
other than telling him what his job was.
All right, and that 4 or 5 months after he began working there, that is
He
when
started the flirting. It
yeah,
was not.
and
That's not
offered
true, Your Honor.
offered to take you somewhere. Okay, and then you refused it then.
Yes.
But then 4 or 5 months later, what happened?
Well, I did go out to dinner with him. And I ended up leaving my husband, and I ended up going out with him.
Okay. Did you all stay in a relationship?
Yes, for a little while.
How long?
But the relationship started out on lies. The man, I was 37 years old. I had a 13-year-old daughter, did not want any more children. This man tells me that he can't have children. Lo and behold, 4 months later, I'm pregnant
That's
with
not
his
true, Your
child.
Honor.
I feel trapped. I find out after I'm pregnant, this man's an alcoholic.
That's not true either,
He's
Your
a
Honor.
drug addict.
That's not true.
What drugs is he allegedly addicted to?
Well, at the time he was chewing his prescription drugs, drinking a can of beer.
That's
To
not
get
true,
high.
Your Honor.
He had a DUI just 4 years ago with child endangerment. He had my child in the car with him.
What happened?
He pulls into Taco Bell to get them something to eat, and the police pull in behind him and get him.
All right, you tell me about the relationship since the time you all got together.
All right. Well, it's not true about me chewing drugs and drinking beer. And yes, I did get a DUI with my daughter. But that was the night she was supposed to come over and get her, and she didn't. So me and her, my niece invited us over for a party they was having New Year's Eve. We went there to New Year's Eve because there was other little kids there, and I wanted to play with the kids. I did end up having a few too many to drink. We was coming home. We stopped at Taco Bell. I got a ticket for a DUI, but I went through parenting classes. I went through alcohol and drug abuse classes, and I learned quite a bit from that. The flirting went on. We went out.
We're past that.
Okay, well, we went out and stayed in a motel all night. We ended up getting together.
Did you tell her you were unable to conceive children?
No, I did not.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
I told her that me and my late wife tried to have kids ever since
All right.
my
What about the 13-year-old son that you
How old
had?
is the
Debbie?
child
I
you
don't
all
have a
have
son.
now?
I have an 11-year-old
how
daughter
old is
and
the
a
child you all
37-year-old.
have together?
11.
Okay. Good.
He also had a
I love her to
13-year-old
death.
son that died when he was 13 years old.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Yes, it is.
Ma'am, what we're dealing with today is the child you all have together. And he says he's happy and proud to have that 11-year-old
Yes, I
child.
am.
And we're glad to hear that. Why are you suing her today for a breach of contract?
Well, I got disabled in 2010. I signed up for disability in August of 2010. Well, I got it in January of 2011. But from August to January, I was taking care of my little girl from 2009 because she didn't want her.
No, that's not the reason you was not.
Then-
you was taking care of her. I lost my job is why you had her.
Ma'am, you said you didn't want to take care of your daughter, so I'll
No.
give you a chance to address that.
I lost my job in August of 2000, or the same year. I lost my apartment. I had no way to put a roof over her head. In fact, I had to sleep in a tent for a while
He
because
wasn't
I had
paying
nowhere
child
to go.
support?
No,
Yes, sir, I was paying child
he has
support.
never paid child support. He every now and then give me $50 here and there,
No,
but
sir,
he
that's
was
not
never
true.
ordered to pay child support. So I
Never
had
been ordered to pay child support?
Never been ordered, but I paid it all the time.
How
No.
much per month?
I paid $60 a week starting out.
he did not.
Then it did drop down to 50.
When he felt like paying it.
That's not
he
true,
did
Your
not
Honor.
pay it every
But this isn't the first time that I've had her either. I had her for another 2 or 3 years before
Yeah,
this.
but what was the reason that I took her back then?
at all.
We're talking about the time period in which she had the child and ended up homeless.
Yes. Well, I wasn't working when she became homeless.
Okay, gotcha. All right, and so how did you end up with the child then if neither of you were working?
Well, I was getting unemployment.
He had a
Okay.
home to live in. I
You
had
had
to
a
sleep
home.
in a tent.
She got fired for flirting with men at work. Where
Sir, let's
No, I
leave
did
all
not
that
get
alone.
fired
she's
for
got a married
flirting.
boyfriend now.
I
mean,
did not.
that's got something to do with
You
my
are
daughter.
crazy.
What does this have to do with your daughter, sir?
That is a
Well,
lie.
she shouldn't be around that.
I do not even have a boyfriend.
Okay. Your
Anyhow.
Honor.
I'm not seeing nobody.
All right, ma'am. I wanted to allow you to address the allegation that you didn't want the child. I understand now
Yes,
that he
I do
wasn't
want my
paying you
child.
enough to keep the child. That's what had happened. Go ahead, sir. And you weren't paying her enough to be able to keep the child because you were unemployed. So the best you could do is have the child with you because you had a roof over your head, even though you were unemployed. Got it. So tell me how she owes you now.
I didn't know that I could get Social Security for my little girl when I
for
got
the disability.
disability. So I found out around March that I could sign her up for Social Security. Well, since I didn't have full custody, legal custody, but I do have this paper saying that I do have custody of her, signed by her,
Let's see it.
but that's all I have.
No.
And
I have never signed nothing saying he has custody.
Go ahead.
and then I had to
You have
call
a
her.
driver's license on you today?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. We'll be able to tell whether this is your signature.
That's her.
Go
signature.
ahead.
And then I finally had to call Betty to see if she would let me get temporary custody so I could draw that money so my little daughter and I could live a little bit better. Well, she said no. And that's when she found out that my daughter was going to get $532 more a month. That's when she said, well, Benny, you know I do want her back when she gets out of school.
No, I told you I was taking her back. It's the day that I left her there.
She come over to get her one weekend. I was at my niece's son's graduation party.
Uh-oh.
She calls me up over the phone. She calls me up over the phone and says, Benny, I'm not bringing Brianna back. I'm just going to keep her. I said, okay. Well, when I went there to get her that next weekend, I said, well, Betty, are you going to give me that check? I said, she was living with me. I run up my credit cards and used every penny I saved to get through these months that I wasn't getting no income. She said, yes, I'll give it to you.
No, I did not.
If you bring all of her clothes, her glasses, her medicine, if you bring everything you've got, I'll give it to you. I said, okay, Betty. So I did.
But you failed to bring her
everything she
things to
had
me.
back over there to me.
You still haven't
And
gotten
still
the
didn't get
dime.
the check, Your Honor.
Ma'am?
I did tell him I would give him part of this money. I did not tell him I would give him all of it. I said, if you give me her personal belongings back. I did not get a dresser, no bed. The man did not even give my child her inhaler that she needs. He still has it. So I have to make doctor's appointments to get her inhaler.
Have you made a doctor's
Had to make
appointment?
New dentist appointments.
Have you made dentist
Yeah,
appointments?
she has one next
No.
week for your information. Yes, she does.
I was the one taking her to the
Ma'am?
doctor.
This man is a liar. He
Gotcha.
says he does not do drugs.
Right.
Just in 2008,
No, let's talk
he was
about
convicted for cocaine.
Ma'am, we're not talking about that. We're talking about whether you signed this or not. You said you didn't. First, let me have you also write out your daughter's name, because this suggests that you wrote it. And so write your daughter's name out. You see how your handwriting is when you write her name. I've seen how it is when you write your name on your license. Now let's see how it is when you write her name.
Your Honor, I haven't got to see my daughter in 6 weeks since I filed this case.
Okay?
And she loved me to
The
death.
way that
His daughter does
the
not
way
want
you
to
have
see
written
him.
your daughter's name, ma'am, is the exact way it was written on this note
that
that
for
you
a
claim you
temporary
never
dispute?
signed. And also, not only did you write it precisely the way you did on this note you claim you never signed, the way you sign your name on your driver's license is exactly the way it's signed on this note. So therefore, I believe that you have perjured yourself. And I still would probably have granted him a judgment based on the testimony I'm hearing. You received monies to pay for the living expenses of the child while he was caring for that child during that time period. So he was entitled to those monies. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, I don't have no hard feelings. I just wish to God that she would let me see my daughter. I mean, I haven't
Your
got
daughter
to see her
doesn't
for
want to
6
see
weeks.
you.
doesn't
That
wanna
is
see
the
you.
problem. She doesn't want to come there.
And
She
don't-
tells us that because
she don't
you
want
are
to come
on
to your
drugs.
house. You don't crack cocaine. She found pot in your car and brought it
in
to
your
me.
car and brought it to us.
Do you
and
think
asked
she
what a
wants to
dime
go
bag
If I'm
was.
such a
Why
bad
should
father,
an
why do you
11-year-old?
always give her to me?
Why should an
She hasn't
11-year-old
been to
know
your
what a
house
dime
in
bag
that
is,
shit.
Benny? Don't throw your hand up at me. Why
She
should an
doesn't wanna
11-year-old
come to
know
your
what a dime bag is?
know that
She
little
hears you
girl loves
talking
me.
to your drug dealers on the
How
phone.
would an 11-year-old know what a dime bag is, Benny?
Well, maybe you've bought them for her.
Yeah, she
something.
doesn't
I
do
don't.
drugs.
For
Are
her
you
or something.
crazy?
I don't
You?
know, Betty.
She
Drug
doesn't
test
do
me
drugs
right now.
either. Your child does not want to come to your house. So therefore, she's not coming
I don't
to
believe
your
that,
I'm
house.
not going
Betty.
to force her. Do you want to talk
I'm
to
not
her?
gonna-
She'll tell
Yeah.
you.
Well,
Yeah, she does
Well,
not
I will
want to
have
come
to
to
get
your
some
house.
legal advice on that because
Well,
she
you
is
better
going-
try to get visitation rights because she will not be to your house.
All right, I will.
There you go.
And you better be able to pass a drug test, and you can't do it.
I can do it.
I
You
doubt
can't.
it. Probably fake it.